Good evening, friends, and Professor Venkat Ramana, the chief guest for today's valedictory function. Professor M.R. Rao, the president of today's valedictory function, and Mr. Sham from Janvi, and our resource faculty, Shanmugam, and our honorable executive board members, colleagues, and friends. So it is now the time for us to call off the day for the Friday workshop, with included and culminating into theory as well as hands-on experience, and also your involvement in the home-based assignment. But for the sake of the guests, I need to mention this was actually a 5-day program which started on 17th, online program, and ended in 21st, and consequentially 3 days was given for them to complete their home-based assignment, which ended yesterday, and today is our valedictory function. So this is the whole program that has gone during the last 8 days. Now it is my privilege to first introduce our chief guest, and Professor Venkat Ramana, who is a very senior and youngest professor holding very key positions. Professor Venkat Ramana is from Hyderabad. He holds MBA degree and doctoral degree in management, and he received advanced training in IIE, Sweden, and IC2 Institute, University of Texas, prior to his present assignment in the present position of Telangana Higher Education Council. And he was a professor. He is a professor on leave from the University of Hyderabad, which is a central university. And when he served in the University of Hyderabad as a dean for more than 7 years, and has over 30 years of a long-standing teaching and research experience in different sections of academics, industry, and board level positions, including the SBI board, as well as IFCL, which is a constituent of Ministry of Finance, Government of India. So he's well-known personality, and Professor Venkat Ramana began his career in IPE, Institute of Public Enterprise in Hyderabad, as a research assistant, from where he moved to the industry, where he served for some years before joining the academics. He started his teaching career in Osmani University, from where he moved to the Central University of Hyderabad. He has extensively worked in the area of innovation, incubation, and entrepreneurship, which is his 40 area by his professional character, and was also the founder of TBI, the Technology Business Incubation at the University of Hyderabad. And he served as executive council member and various other administrative positions in the University of Hyderabad. And also his interests are mainly in the areas of general management, corporate governance, strategy, marketing, and strategic management. He served as visiting professor at San Diego State University, University of New Orleans, USA, and many other universities. He was also visiting professors to various countries. And Professor Venkat Ramana received honors in terms of various prestigious awards.
Sorry, Professor Ramesh, can I interrupt you? Maybe,
Yes.
We can shorten it because, we have less time. And
Yeah, that's fine. That's yeah.
I think
fine. Yeah, nice of you for interrupting me on this. But then we thought that it is honor because the participants need to know, because when they listen to such a actual career of a personality, it is a kind of motivation for the people. So that is the reason why we try to introduce the background of a chief guest normally, though it is a customary, which I don't believe, but then it is with this intention we do it. Fine. So since you said that to stop giving all this background of yours, but I can share my personal information about Professor Venkat Ramana. I have been in touch with him for the last 25 years. And I knew him, and he visited Goa along with me in a long drive in my own car from Hyderabad to Goa. That was my cherished memory long back. So Professor Venkat Ramana is really a renowned professor, academician, and policymaker. And in terms of his credibility, he has been put in the position as vice chairman of Telangana State Higher Education Council, the position of which is equivalent to the rank of a chief secretary. So this is his background, and prolific writer and also researcher, and mainly believes in professional development of entrepreneurship, and is a professor of marketing. So with this brief introduction of Professor Venkat Ramana, I welcome him for this platform and for blessing us on this occasion. So welcome, Professor Venkat Ramana.
Thank you.
And yeah, I don't need to introduce the Dean of Management, Professor M.R. Rao, who was known not only in the country but worldwide. In fact, during the inaugural function, I invited him. Unfortunately, he was not available because of clash with the two other programs. So therefore, I thought at least during the valedictory function, I could take the chance of inviting him. And Professor M.R. Rao is like a father of management. And we can't speak. If I start speaking about him, then the whole valedictory time will get over. So Professor M.R. Rao, welcome you, sir.
Thank you. So thank you, sir. Don't have to do much.
He was as a past president of AIMS, and he is still very active despite his age limitations. He's very active in all AIMS activities, the board meetings, and also all the academic programs. And I remember a few months back, we had organized a national level conference on higher education policy, new NEP, where almost 13 vice chancellors, including 5 vice chancellors of central universities, participated. Even Professor Venkatamana was also there in one of the technical sessions. So he has been so active. Thank you, sir, for accepting my invitation to preside our today's evening.
My pleasure.
And,
go ahead.
Your also makes a lot of difference for the participants. Now, I also welcome Shyam, who was the master brain for this whole program. Shyam Sundar from Genevieve, who has been Shyam Sundar from Genevieve.
Thank you.
And
Thank you, sir.
Also and also our resource faculty, Dr. Shanmugam, who is also the, what I would say, the batsman for the last 5 days program. Very meticulously participated and received a lot of laurels from the participants throughout the program. And my other colleagues, welcome all of you. And I need to give a brief account of what has gone into this 5 days program, plus the home-based assignment during the last 3 days, in very brief manner before I invite our other speakers to join. So this program started on 17th of May, which is a 5-day online program. On day 1, the research faculty has started in terms of briefing the participants to install Tableau, and also type of analytics, use of analytics, and hands-on practice to generate various insights from the data. And also verifying of the graphs and charts, including the heat map and time series forecasting, which was covered on day 1. So essentially, it is introducing the whole concept of financial analytics using the conceptual as well as the theoretical aspects of it, and also the tool like Tableau. And day 2 started in terms of installing the R studio, R and R studio as well, and practical hands-on training on R and financial analytics, which was covered in depth to the extent of participation, and also involving the participants to get into it, this exercise. And day 3 started with, again, a practical hands-on training on time series analysis, such as exploring and plotting data into various plots to identify the pattern like seasonality, trend, unit root test, stationary, non-stationary, also have been covered. And this with using the live data from various important sources, such as QUAN. And therefore, again, it's based on conceptual issues in building the time series models, such as the autoregressive as well as moving average process, and ARMA and ARIMA models, which were explained with live examples using the stock prices from different sources. And the last day, which is essentially based on a practical case, based on the last 4 days program, he brought out a case to explain the hands-on training in terms of tapping the live information from the Facebook as well as Microsoft real data set, and for building time series models with a case study, especially in terms of the stock prices and predicting the short-term price movements. So this was covered during the 5 days program, and the 5th day ended on last Friday, and then the participants were given the time of 3 days, which involves 10 hours of home-based assignment, where they have been asked to choose their own case study on the basis of the 5-day program, tap the sources of data, and then try to link with reference to their own areas of interest, either in terms of academics or research, and then try to submit an assignment. So yesterday, most of the participants have submitted, and some of them had some kind of hindrances for the natural calamities as well as the COVID situations which were affected. Few of the participants unfortunately got affected, and that was the reason why most of the participants out of 87 participants who were drawn from almost 16 states all over India for this program. Then unfortunately, few of them are missing during this valedictory function. That doesn't make any kind of missings for them. And we promise them to take care of themselves, and then we will share the certificates to them. So with this introduction of this program, now I request the President, Professor M.R. Rao, to take over. Over to you, Professor M.R. Rao.
Thank you, Ramesh. Good evening to all of you. It's indeed a pleasure to be here. I want to thank Professor Ramesh for inviting me for this valedictory function. I have a small presentation. I was thinking what I should talk about. He has given me 10 minutes. But as you know, we academics, once we start, we don't easily stop. So I may go over a few minutes more. I was thinking what I should talk about. First, I thought maybe this program is on financial analytics. Maybe I should talk about business analytics, which is broader. But I'm sure most of you would have known about that. So finally, I settled on the title as Disruptive Innovation, Artificial Intelligence, and Education. So that's what I will talk about. It's a short, I have a short presentation. I'm told I can share the screen. So that's what I will do. And hopefully it will work. I hope you are able to hear me. Ramesh, if for some reason you are not able to hear me at some point, because
Oh, sir, you are audible now.
No,
audible now, sir.
I'm just saying, if you're not able to hear me, because then you, my internet is not working properly, just call me and say that, okay?
Okay, sir.
Not much, once or twice it happened, but not often. But it should be okay, I think, okay? So I'll share the screen, I'll make a presentation. So are you all able to see this? Yes, Ramesh?
Yes, sir. Yes. Yes, sir. We are able to see it.
Okay, thank you. Disruptive Innovation, Artificial Intelligence and Education. That's the title of my talk. I'll just put it on slideshow. So I'll talk about disruptive innovation first, and then types of innovation, innovation in education, artificial intelligence and education. Most of it is available in the literature, but some of my own interpretations, my own experiences, I will be adding here and there. Okay. So disruptive innovation does not necessarily mean very advanced technologies. Usually firms are aware of the innovations, but the business environment does not allow them to pursue them. Like for instance, many of us are aware of online education and so on, but sometimes we may not pursue them thinking that, face-to-face is important and things like that. It may not be profitable initially, and it may require scarce resources that currently required to be used, and so don't place enough value to that disruptive innovation. Startup firms, the startup firms, they have different value networks. Like you have startup firms like an online education, Baiju and others, Upgrad and so on. They have a different value network. They try to create new markets, attract customers from current market with value proposition. And then what happens is established firms can only try to fend off the market share and try to survive. That becomes disruptive innovation. What are types of innovation? One is the so-called sustaining innovation. Does not significantly affect existing markets. Maybe evolutionary, It improves products in ways that customers are expecting. Like you may think of, we used to have, at least my time, it was all annual exams and so on. So gradually improvements, semester system of education, case method of teaching and things like that. These are evolutionary improvements that occur. Sometimes it may be revolutionary, discontinuous, radical. I don't know if you call NEP, New National Education Policy, as revolutionary, but no standalone institutes will be revolutionary. And does not really affect existing markets, but radical changes. Disruptive will create new markets ultimately and unexpectedly overtakes an existing market. Online education, blended learning, and so on. It may not really completely overtake, but I don't know how it will play out. You might say partly this is some of my examples are my own. You may or may not agree with that. That's fine. So let's look at innovation and improvements in education over a period of time. What is important is learning capabilities are different, each one of us. People have started questioning the classroom with 60, 70 students, and we assume that everybody learns at the same rate and the material is given and so on. Speed of learning is different. So what we're talking about is we need individualized learning, but it's difficult. How do we do that? So a person this is done in some schools and in the university system in the US, it is very much there. You may be taking some basic courses in some subjects and some advanced courses in some other subjects. Even though you may be in the first year, you might have had a lot of physics in your school, in your high school, so you may take some advanced subjects in physics, but maybe you didn't have enough of chemistry, so you will take some chemistry basic courses and so on. In some of the school systems, you have that. You take advanced mathematics. If you are good in mathematics and if you are poor in something else, you'll be taking a basic course. Although you may be in the sixth grade, you may be taking courses in the seventh grade, normally for seventh grade students, and sometimes you may be taking courses fifth grade students and so on. It's credit-based system in universities facilitates this. So you get credits and then over the 4 years, let's say it's a degree, 4-year degree, you will accumulate enough credits to graduate. So, of course, now the order of the day is learning to learn by oneself. How do you learn by yourself is the issue. Learning is lifelong. You may say progression is from passive learning to active learning and experiential learning, learning by doing, blended learning, immersion learning, and so on. There are various different progressions of learning. I just want to add here experience in ISB, for instance. ISB takes in students who have work experience. 1 year we had a lady who had a child who was maybe about 10 years old or so. He was studying in Mumbai, so he didn't join her during the year. But towards the end of the year, her son had come to the campus. The courses were still going on. One of the faculty members saw them and asked her, why don't you take him to some class and let him see? She said, is that allowed? He said, not usually, but if the professor allows it, there's no problem. So he just left it at that. The next day, 2 days later, he happened to see them again in the corridor. So he asked them, did you go to the class? Did you attend any? He said, yeah, I did. He said, it's amazing. They even let the students talk in the class. So, our system is such that in our schools and so on, if you ask questions, you're a disruptive kid or something. You're not allowed to talk at all. So learning in colleges and especially in MBA programs is completely different in terms of flipped classroom is where you're supposed to learn, read everything and so on, and the classroom is intended for a discussion, but sometimes it's difficult if students don't read, don't come prepared, it becomes difficult. You have MOOCs, massively online courses, Coursera is becoming popular and so on. And learning happens, different people learn differently. This is the basic issue actually. I'll tell you my experience at Carnegie Mellon University when I was a student. One of the professors, it was a doctoral level course, he would just assign readings and then he will say, and assign students to these are all published papers, and he'll assign students to each one, each class about 2 or 3 papers to be discussed. Each one is assigned 2 or 3 papers during for the term, and you have to read and you have to make a presentation. That was all. He didn't do much teaching or anything, and there will be discussion in the classroom. But sometimes we found that even he had not read some of it. So somebody said we should go and complain to the dean. Then somebody else said, you know what happened last year when we complained to the dean? He was not interested in that, but he wanted to know who are the good teachers. So we told them Professor X, Y, Z. And then the dean went to their office separately, of course, Professor X, Y, and Z. Told them, why are you not spending enough time on research? So in those days, research was a predominant one, teaching was not. But my main point is, if I look back now, at that time they asked me to rate the professor, I would have rated him badly. But now it gave us the confidence to read papers and understand. There's been a great learning experience. Now, people learn differently, and that I was forced to sit down, read these papers, which had lots of mathematics and so on, forced me to understand and gave me the confidence that you could really, if you put in the effort, you can understand. So people learn differently. When I was teaching at Rochester, my colleague asked him, who were the good teachers in the ad. He was a student at Johns Hopkins University. He said, we had this one professor who was very meticulous, came well prepared, everything was fine and so on. We learned something. But there was this professor who came, was not well prepared, who would make all kinds of mistakes in the classroom, but we all jump into it and we learned much more by that way, he said, because they participated in the discussions and so on. So my main point is people learn differently, and having a classes, people have started questioning, I don't know where we will end up with in terms of the teaching methodology and so on. Artificial intelligence is supposed to help in some sense. I'll talk about that. Artificial intelligence, of course, has been around for a long, long time. Unfortunately, of course, they predict a lot and they take longer time to actually fructify. Herbert Simon, who was an economist and also HR person, he had predicted in 1957 chess will become an irrelevant game as computers will be the best known chess players. It took more than 40 years for Deep Blue to beat Gary Kasparov, I think in early 2000 or something like that. So what they say in artificial intelligence, if they say it'll happen in 5 years, maybe it'll happen in 20, 25 years, or 10 years, 40 years. Marvin Minsky said that within a generation, problems in creating artificial intelligence will be solved and so on. My own reading is with a factor of 5 or 6 or whatever it is, predictions do come true. As someone said, we tend to overestimate the impact of artificial intelligence in the short run, but underestimate in the long run. I think in the long run, because many of these will come. Of course, my professor in Carnegie Mellon said, forecasting the future is difficult. If you're going to do any forecasting, do it far in advance. So by the time the time comes, you are long gone, and if the prediction comes true, they'll say you're a visionary. If the prediction doesn't come true, they'll forget about it anyway. So you don't have to. So because Herbert Simon's prediction did not come true in 10 years. Nowadays, of course, there's machine learning, and there's a concept called deep machine learning. This is what involves predominantly multivariate statistics that Professor Ramesh had taught you. I see in the outline, there are lots of things about regression, multivariate statistics, and so on. So deep machine learning predominantly seems to be multivariate statistics, at least these days. There's a lot of descriptive analytics and so on, but predictive analytics is by far the hardest, and there is work going on, and people are doing predictive analytics, but we have to wait and see how accurate, how it will pan out. So basically, machine learning is machines take data from environment and learn by themselves and allow them to improve with experience and so on. My one big question is, if things are supposed to change very fast, your past experience may not have much relevance, and the machine learning itself may not have that much relevance in that sense. Your past experience. But it's a question, my question is really, is it going to change that fast? Is there still going to be some time so the learning can still be useful, learning from past experience? We have to wait and see. So artificial intelligence works in 4 different ways. What is called assisted intelligence helps people perform faster. Augmented intelligence helps people make better decisions. Autonomous intelligence, automating decision-making processes without human intervention and so on. So really automation and augmentation is what is required. Automation is machines slowly and steadily start doing what persons do and eventually possibly replace. Cost saving and limitations are essentially restricted to present work. Augmentation starts with what humans do, find out how the work can be deepened, improved, and rather than diminishing the work, and we'll be using more work and more greater use of machines and so on. So it's really automation and augmentation. We are far from autonomous intelligence, although people make you think that autonomous intelligence, automated decision-making processes without human intervention is possible. But I am not sure that it may be possible, but how good those decisions are is an open question. So recognizing facial and voice recognition, there's been a lot of improvement, but logic-based reasoning, as I think level of advancement is not as much. A recent PricewaterhouseCoopers research says sectors that will gain the most from artificial intelligence: retail, financial services, healthcare, and so on. Education sector, according to McKinsey, technical feasibility of automation is the lowest in the education sector. Only now we are seeing online education and so on. Of course, we need augmentation that enhance online learning, adaptive learning, and research processes are required to see how learning can be improved. Leverage sort of basic artificial intelligence algorithm to personalize the learning. We need an adaptive learning environment so that students get immediate feedback, but they learn in different ways and different paces. That is the issue. What is the point of view of faculty? Not so much delivering content, but place students on individualized pathways so that they learn at their own pace. So faculty become supportive coaching role rather than information content developers, providers. Adaptive learning, of course, will disrupt traditional classroom, self-paced curriculum, and so on. For institutions, what is the benefit? It will cut costs, improve quality, assurance of learning that people are indeed learning. Business schools then become hubs of lifelong learning. Of course, people have started questioning whether the 4-year and 2-year programs become less relevant, because partly because of artificial intelligence and so on. But I don't think that's going to become less relevant in the immediate future. But in the long run, we don't know. But executive education, short duration programs, I think will go a long way in terms of blended learning. So what are the difficulties? It takes enormous amount of time for providing this online education material. And who is responsible, the teacher or the content developer or the AI algorithm developers? Who is ultimately responsible for the material? And of course, nowadays we have a lot of high quality online courses providing continuous feedback and so on. We still need a lot of research to improve learning. So my reference, I've given some references. My take on all of this is AI and education will undergo drastic changes, but I don't quite agree with some of the predictions that the big universities will become relics and so on. It will take a much longer time. But as I said, artificial intelligence, they overestimate the immediate impact and underestimate in the longer term. But maybe in 30, 40 years, we will see a massive disruption. May not be massive disruption, but the educational system, if you look at 30, 40 years from now, what it is now, there may be a complete difference. So with this, I'll close. I want to thank Mr. Ramesh and the organizers for inviting me. I hope I didn't take too long because, as I said, the professors, once we start, we have difficulties talking. Thank you. Mr. Ramesh, you have to unmute yourself. Unmute. Ramesh, unmute yourself. You're muted.
Professor Ramesh, you have to unmute yourself.
I was waiting for the screen, sharing screen to get up. Thank you, Professor Amara. It was a really a kind of experience that you have built over the decades that you have put in terms of your thoughts. And your address has thrown a lot of issues in terms of what we need to think in detail in terms of emerging areas, especially in terms of artificial intelligence. Your thoughts are highly appreciated. And you are right when you said that it is only a short-term phenomenon. In fact, when we are talking about this workshop itself, there was a discussion in which I also participated with, along with the participants, when the prediction model was going on, and the research faculty had to defend, saying that this is a model only for short term, and these models will not work in the long term. And that was the conclusion drawn by him in terms of predicting stock price movements. So it is essentially meant for short term. I think your line of thinking, what you have said, is very right, sir. And you also thrown open a lot of broader areas in which we need to think of also evolving new programs in future. Thank you very much, sir. Now it is the time for, before I invite you guys, let us listen to the feedback of a few participants if they are keen to share their experience, so that all of you, the chief guest as well as the president, will have the prima facie idea of the reactions of the participants. So now, can I request the participants, if anyone, I won't name anybody, but you please come up, though I have sent you the message that you need to participate in the feedback form, but nobody has responded. Now it is open for you. So now it is over to you, the participants. Take the lead, unmute your audio as well as video, and then share your experience. Over to the participants of the program. Unmute your audio as well as video.
Good evening, sir.
Just introduce your name, institution, and go ahead. Yeah, Dr. Wani, go ahead.
Sir, good evening, sir. This is Dr. Vani, Director for Skill Development Center from St. Joseph PG College, sir, Abbots, Hyderabad, sir. It's a wonderful session, sir. I thank everyone for coordinating and organizing such a session for the many of the research scholars, sir, who are not doctorates, and giving an overview of the research, how it goes on, not only for the newcomers, sir, but also for the experienced faculty like us. It was a useful session, sir. I wish this could have been extended with more time, and I do understand the limitations, but excellent session, sir. The speaker was excellent, and the content delivered was also very good. Thanks a lot, sir, for organizing, sir.
Yeah, thank you, Dr. Wani. Now, anyone from the participants, please unmute yourself and come online. Please unmute your audio as well as video, both.
Yeah, so this was really a very good session, mainly from an academic perspective. Information and the insights that were given were too good. And
can you please introduce yourself before?
Yeah, sure. Sure. My name is Sandeep. I'm working as a senior project manager at Infosys, and basically I'm working in the artificial intelligence and robotic process area. So from an academic perspective, this is a new session for me. Like how the AI can be enabled in the academic areas, because generally we enable the AI and RPA pretty much mostly in the industrial sector of supply chain management. That's what generally I manage. But sir, this is a really useful information, and the speakers have been to the point, and the content also was too good. So I would like to thank everyone for giving me this opportunity.
Okay. So thank you, Sandeep. Any other participants of the workshop? Please unmute your audio video, otherwise we lose time.
Good evening, sir. This is Dr. B. Ramesh, Geetam University, Hyderabad. This workshop is very excellent. And only the shortage of things is panel data is not covered. I hope that next upcoming workshop, we are expecting the panel data analysis, because once we cover the time series analysis as well as panel data, it will be the good for econometrics. And thank you to organizer connecting way of conducting what we call in time schedule in online. We are feeling like even though online, but we felt it as a offline. The special resource person is giving very good inputs from basics to this one. Thank you very much, sir.
So thank you very much.
Good evening, sir. This is Dr. Harish Kumar Prohit. Without wasting time, I just started, sir. I am director of PTV's Institute of Management, Mumbai. Well, I have done in the past modeling, in the while I was in the industry. But the kind of learning environment that has been provided through AIMS and particularly the resource person, it was amazing. Because financial modeling is a technical subject, and fundamental concept with the use of technology and the software like R. Many of the participants were new to R, but then yet, he made a full impact. 10 on 10, I would rate, because of the learning environment that has been provided, and more often interactive. Because often what happens, this kind of technical sessions end up in having dissatisfaction if the synchronization is not there. But the kind of synchronization which is brought between the concepts and the technical aspect of a program of R in a very simple and lucid manner, I think that is the edge. That is the edge. So I wish you all the best, sir, to do this kind of a program and many more in future. We are there with AIMS and the resources.
Thank you. Thank you very much. And we have almost crossed our time limits before the chief guest has to deliver his. Now it's time that I need to invite our chief guest, Professor Venkat Ramana. Over to you, sir.
Thank you, Professor Ramesh. First of all, I would like to thank all of you for having thought about me, people at AIMS, as well as the organizers, and especially the program director. Because for a minute I was thinking when Professor invited me yesterday, a couple of days back, because I remember my days in the banking sector, where I was in the board of State Bank and also IFCL. In those days, at least it is around 9 to 10 years back, financial analysis was what we used to do more often. And of course, modeling and all developed over a period of time. Before I get into my own observations on this, let me first congratulate all of you for having thought about it. Because if you look at the most innovations happening now in this pandemic, and as Professor M.R. Rao said, a guru who has really produced a lot of management teachers, and most of us, including me, have benefited from these gurus like Professor Y.K. Bhushan, Professor M.R. Rao, Professor Abad Ahmad, etc., whom you have referred just now. So what I have been seeing in the last 1 year is, in fact, I have participated in 3 or 4 of these webinars of Goa University Business School itself. So what I've seen is the whole field of academics is changing, and change is the only thing which is constant in our life now, as you see in the last 1-2 years. And then much of the output is coming from business schools and commerce and management professionals and professors and research scholars. The reason being that when you are facing a problem, you come out with innovative solutions. Having said that, I would also like to say that the traditional methods of financial analysis have, of course, many a times they have proven to be quite good because we had the native wisdom and we had the board which would guide the bankers, etc. But when you look at the debacle of many companies and many entrepreneurs who could not make it big, though had a wonderful idea, I think the crux of the matter is their financial planning, analysis, and futuristic projection, so to speak. Of course, business schools and commerce departments have produced many people who have become leaders in their own way and then led companies. But in the new age, what is required is constant upgradation, constant exposure to the new and developing areas and techniques. Financial modeling is essentially the task of building a model that represents a real world financial situation. And to do this, it requires a lot of, they require three skills. One is, of course, the ability to look through the futuristic models, two, apply the same, and three, use techniques and programs to analyze and predict the same, like Professor Ramana said. So as I understand, the workshop was focused at stock market data and analyzing stock market data, pricing trends of various stocks, predicting future trends, etc. I'm particularly happy because in this challenging times, what is required is thinking out of box, energizing the faculty, motivating them to get new techniques and new methods of teaching, learning, and probably adding on to their existing knowledge. In fact, what I was talking today, even back in a meeting, is what is going to happen in the future is co-creation of knowledge. That means all three of us, the faculty, the students, the industry, all of them will come together to work on emerging models, emerging practices, and come out with the best practices. In this context, I just want to touch upon one or two issues which I thought would merit your consideration and attention. The first and foremost thing is, as we start preparing for a new academic year, the coming academic year, which hopefully will be the normal academic year, or maybe a hybrid model, which would involve a classroom learning and also online or something. We in that academic administration are really keeping our fingers crossed as to what would be the future of the campuses, the universities. What would be the way in which we need to mold our teaching?
Professor Venkatamana, your audio has gone off.
Because as
Professor Venkatamana, your audio.
Management and commerce have to increasingly have an exposure to the real life situations. And workshops like this will provide them the inputs, the data, and probably the technique. And when they go to the real life, it becomes easy for them to adapt. So the academic connect and the industry connect is required. And what we have done today in this workshop, as I hear from many of them, including an industry professional from Infosys, Mr. Sandeep, is that, we had a new view and new outlook towards the whole modeling thing, unlike the typical industry. Similarly, we in academics, if we interact with people from industry, which is what is the order of the day, and which I have been working for the last 2 decades on industry, university interface in management education. I remember I used to sit on the board of a large bank, and with me there was a professor and former director of IIM. And we always used to, like, I was from the marketing side and he was from the operation side, and both of us would converge on certain issues. But many a times we would say that it is very important to identify the trends of the future very early and then work on them. And many times we have seen that this has resulted in very good feedback. Why I'm trying to say that is Professor Ramesh, AIMS for that matter, and all the collaborating organizations have really thought about this in these times and got nearly 90 participants. It's not a joke. It's not easy to get 90 participants. And as I'm speaking, I feel guilty that on a working day, some of the places may be locked down, but the people eager to listen to the faculty and the resource persons. And I find that many of them are from Karnataka, Gujarat, Tamil Nadu, Telangana. So it is also in a way in the learning from each other. When I saw the list of participants, I was delighted because I could see that there are a lot of young people, a lot of senior faculty who want to hone up their skills. And probably as faculty, we can pass it on to our students and research scholars, and also to enhance their creative thinking and adaptability to the new developments in the business environment. I would also like to bring to your notice that R and financial analytics and providing hands-on training to faculty would go a long way. And I will spend next 2 minutes on what the future of academic administration and academic and universities would be, especially commerce and management, and including other departments. What is going to happen and what we are looking at even in the government, especially the government of Telangana, as we are all aware, very progressive government. And what Professor M.R. Rao said is artificial intelligence, etc., or for that matter, any technology was not used or is the last to be used in education. But we are looking at, in fact, we have declared 2020 as the year of AI, right from schooling to the master's or doctoral program. And having said that, Hyderabad is home to a lot of world-class institutions, including ISB, which are proud, which we host in Hyderabad, not only Hyderabad, but the entire country. And if we can work together, in fact, my message to all of you, because all of you are concerned academics and senior people, organizations like AIM, organizations which can get us together. But if we can, each department, for example, Utkal University, I had been to Utkal University once for a visit. Similarly, Osmania University, Nagarjuna University, FMS, Delhi. If we can come together, cluster mode of this thing, and then share a program, and then get 10 each or 20 each, and then together we deliver this program. I think this is going to be the age of cooperation, age of interaction. So I would encourage all of you, and from the government, from especially Telangana State Council of Higher Education, I welcome some of the participants from Hyderabad and from Telangana and some universities to co-create, and we could also mount a program. I would request somebody, some of them are from Osmania University or from any JNTU or something, we could also support this program by way of organizing it and by way of providing some assistance, because the need of the hour is equipping our faculty with the latest techniques and so that the same is passed on to students. I would now like to conclude by saying that programs like this will help us to co-learn and also to know from each other the developments in the field. The workshop will not end just like that. It would also end in new relationships, new contacts. And I tell you, the best way, as somebody said, of course, is to do hard work, network, legwork, all this. But also smart way of doing is by learning from each other. If we can create a knowledge group which can work along with everyone, and academics is one field, most of us have been here, and people like Professor M.R. Rao with all their knowledge, the world of wisdom which they have this thing, is one thing where we don't have hierarchy, and I don't believe that should be done. So if senior professors who have put in so much of experience can share, like Professor Ramesh and some of you, we could probably work on this collaborative model of learning. And I'm sure people would come forward. Please, Professor Ramesh, my suggestion is, please take such initiatives forward wherever we are, and also collaborate with industry. And let me also tell you one last point. Unless we put a small sign-up fee, and I'm glad you put up a little fee, it always makes us feel we own the program. It's not that the organizers make a big money out of it, but it is basic thing that a faculty should be given as decent remuneration, and the participants should get a decent input. Thank you so much, Professor Ramesh. I actually need to attend a meeting at 7:30. Thank you for your wonderful introduction, which put me, which might have raised a lot of expectations. And normally I believe that it should be very short. It's a lesson for I should tell my office to make it this thing. And last correction is, I'm not holding the rank of a chief secretary. In fact, in some states, the vice chairman is holding the rank of chief secretary, like Karnataka, but I hold the rank of a principal secretary to government. And thank you so much. Good night to all of you.
Yeah, thank you. Please hold on for a minute. Please hold on for a minute. We are having a gallery photo picture of all the participants.
Sure.
So thank you very much, Professor Venkat Ramana, and just hold on for a few minutes. and we take up all the issues that you raised and your suggestions, and definitely we would look forward for your participation and cooperation in future programs as well. And now I request, before vote of thanks in Professor Ramana is about to leave, all of you please unmute your video. All the participants present in this program, please unmute your video. So we are going to have a gallery picture. Sunil,
Yeah, 1 second.
you are ready?
Yeah, I'm ready.
Yeah. So please, all of you at once, please unmute your video. And if possible, show thumbs up. Sunil, you have to tell us.
1 second, sir. Hold on. Because videos are increasing.
Yeah, okay.
Yes, thank you.
Okay, thank you very much. Thank you, Professor Venkat. Now I invite Shyam from Janvi, which is the main backbone for conducting this program, who is the co-founder of Janvi. Over to you, Shyam, to extend a word of thanks.
Good evening to all the guests for today's program. It's an honor to me to offer a vote of thanks on this occasion. I myself, Shyam Sundar, take this opportunity to thank AIMS Secretary, entire management team of AIMS, and the program coordinator, V. Ramesh, and special thanks to Sunil Joshi for his extended support all the way, every day, technically. And I feel a hearty gratitude to AIMS for giving us such a wonderful platform. I would like to thank all the distinguished speakers, honorable and respected chief guest, Professor V. Venkat Ramana, and Professor M.R. Rao, to sharing their graceful words with us in today's meeting. It has been a tribute to associate with AIMS and all the members of the audience in the meeting. Not the least, I'm thankful to all the participants who have actively participated in this 5-day workshop with enthusiasm and interest. And all the participants have given us an energy to come up with many more programs like this with support of AIMS. And thank you for giving us this opportunity. Thank you, sir. Thank you all.
So thank you, Sam. And we look forward, as you said, for your future endeavors as well on this AIMS platform. And now with this, I say bye-bye to all the participants. I'm sure many of the participants could not join because of the reasons which I mentioned, but then be happy. And we look forward for your support in future for all the programs. And in terms of the feedback from whatever suggestions that you are given, we'll see that they are taken in spirit. And then we'll try to mold our programs, and also we try to design our programs as per your suggestions. So thank you very much.
I want to take one more second and thank faculty, our Shanmugan Tyagarajan sir also.
Yes, I'm sorry. Yeah, sorry. Please.
Shanmugan Tyagarajan sir, great honor, and without you, this program could not be that successful. Thanks for all sharing your knowledge. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you, Professor Shan.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you very much. And
Thank
we
you,
look
sir.
forward for your support as well as participation in our future programs. And you have done a wonderful exercise. And then you have seen the feedback from our participants in your own sessions as well as today's sessions. So over to you. Hats off to you. Thank you, Shan. Best of luck. Thank you. Good night to everyone. Professor M.R. Rao, Professor Venkat Ramana, Shyam, Shanmugam, and all my dear participants.